She said she would dance with me if I brought her red roses, cried the young student. But in all my garden, there is no red rose. Happiness depends on such little things. I have studied all the secrets of philosophy, yet the want of a red rose has made my life miserable. His eyes filled with tears.
A nightingale in a nearby oak tree heard the sorrow in the student's voice. Here is a true lover, she thought. I have sung about him even though I never knew him. Now I see him. He is beautiful, but sorrow weighs heavily on his heart.
The prince is giving a ball tomorrow night, muttered the student, and the professor's daughter will be there. If I bring her a red rose, she will dance with me till dawn, and I will hold her in my arms and clasp her hand in mine. But there is no red rose in my garden, so she will ignore me, and my heart will break. He flung himself down on the grass and wept. The nightingale sat in the oak tree and thought. Suddenly, she spread her wings and flew across the garden to a beautiful rose tree.
Give me a red rose, she cried, and I will sing you my sweetest song. But the tree shook its head. My roses are white, it answered. Then the nightingale asked another rose tree, but it shook its head as well. My roses are yellow, it said. Finally, she flew to the rose tree growing beneath the student's window. Give me a red rose, she cried, and I will sing you my sweetest song. The tree shook its head. My roses are red, it answered, but the winter frost has nipped my buds, and a storm has broken my branches. I will have no roses this year.
One red rose is all I want, cried the nightingale. Is there any way you can give it to me? There is a way, answered the tree, but it is a terrible one. If you want a red rose, you must sing to me all night long with your breast against a thorn. The thorn must pierce your heart, and your lifeblood must flow into my veins.
Death is a great price to pay for a red rose, and life is dear to everyone, cried the nightingale. Yet love is better than life. And what is the heart of a bird compared to the heart of a man? She flew back to where the student was lying. Be happy, she cried. You will have your red rose. I merely ask that you be a true lover. The student looked up and listened, but he could not understand what the nightingale was saying. Her song is beautiful, he thought. That cannot be denied, but it has no feeling. She is like most artists, all style without sincerity. She would not sacrifice herself for others. He went back to his room and tossed and turned in his bed until he fell asleep.
When the moon shone, the nightingale flew to the rose tree and set her breast against the thorn. All night long she sang, and the thorn went deeper and deeper into her breast, and her blood faded away. Meanwhile, on the highest branch of the tree blossomed a marvelous rose, one petal at a time. The tree spoke to the nightingale. Press closer, little nightingale, cried the tree, or morning will come before the rose is finished. When the thorn pierced the nightingale's heart, a fierce pain shot through her. The rose turned a deep crimson as the nightingale's voice grew fainter. She gave one last burst of music. Look, cried the tree, the rose is finished now. But the nightingale lay dead in the long grass.
At noon, the student looked out of his window. How wonderful, he cried. Here is a red rose. He leaned down and plucked it, then ran to the professor's house. The professor's daughter was sitting in the doorway. You said you would dance with me if I brought you a red rose, cried the student. Here is the reddest rose in all the world. Please wear it tonight, and as we dance together, it will tell you how much I love you.
But the girl frowned. I am afraid it will not go with my dress, she answered. Besides, the Chamberlain's nephew has sent me some real jewels, and everybody knows that jewels cost far more than flowers.
Well, you are ungrateful, said the student angrily, throwing the rose into the gutter.
And you are rude, said the girl, and only a student. You haven't even got silver buckles on your shoes like the Chamberlain's nephew has. She turned and went into the house.
What a silly thing love is, said the student as he walked away. It is not useful like logic, for it does not prove anything, and it makes people believe things that are not true. In fact, it is impractical. I shall go back to philosophy and study metaphysics. He returned to his room, pulled out a book, and began to read.